BretFlixers. This is BretFlix episode 6. I'm titling this one BretFlix Balboa. Now, I feel like I have a pretty exciting episode for you. We're, of course, doing our next film in the Brooks-a-Thon, but I'm also throwing at you a classic by Steven Spielberg and a classic by Alex Proyas that I feel are fit for the Halloween season. So, let's do this thing. So, Albert Brooks. We're almost done. We're almost done with all the films he's directed. That's sad. I don't like that. But, you know, all good things must come to an end. This isn't the last Albert Brooks film. This is the second to last Albert Brooks film that he's written and directed. So our Brooks-a-Thon is almost over. And this one is a really, really good one. This one is called The Muse. It stars, obviously, Albert Brooks, Andie MacDowell. Jeff Bridges has a small role in the film. And it stars Sharon Stone as Albert Brooks' muse. The premise of the film is Albert Brooks, he is a writer in Hollywood, and he's kind of down on his luck. He had some, a quick 15 minutes of fame. He had some brief success with the script he wrote that actually got him an Oscar nomination. He didn't win the Oscar, but he got a nomination, and that locked him into like a 3-picture deal with a major movie studio. Well, they weren't exactly liking what he was turning out, so they kind of canceled the deal. Albert Brooks doesn't know what he's going to do next. He's kind of worried about his career. And he hears from a friend of his, played by Jeff Bridges, that the secret to his success, not Brooks' success, but Bridges' success, is he hired a muse. A mythical figure that's supposed to inspire people magically. And Albert Brooks at first is like, what are you doing? But he's desperate. He's desperate, and he's like, okay, I'll hire this person, and hopefully this will help me. So he hires this person, again played by Sharon Stone, and at first ends up to be nothing but problems. She has crazy demands, costing a lot of money, a lot of his time. And she insists to be put in the nicest hotel on the top floor and have nothing but the most expensive food, bought for an expensive wardrobes. And every time he comes here, he has to bring her an expensive gift. And so he's like worried. He's like, I don't know if this is going to work out. But even in the midst of all this frustration, there actually is kind of a script that he's able to develop and start to actually kind of write down. So it's like, is she working? Is she actually inspiring him in this mythical way that he was told? Or maybe it's just coming up on his own. I don't know. It's kind of up for you to decide. This is a really, really funny movie. I remember the night I first saw this, the second it was over, I started it over again because it was that funny. This is probably like his funniest in terms of like laugh out loud type of funny. And it has some of the best and most hilarious cameos of any movie I've ever seen. Like, this muse apparently has helped a lot of figures in Hollywood, and so as Albert Brooks and Sharon Stone are kind of walking around town, she's always running into people who she has helped in the past, who she's been a muse for in the past, and that includes James Cameron, director of Titanic, Martin Scorsese, director of Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Rob Reiner, director of Misery, American President, This is Spinal Tap. A lot of people come into her seeking help and everything, and this movie's just hilarious. It's hard to find something to dog on it. It's so lighthearted, and it's so much fun, and it's so sincere. So The Muse is a really excellent Albert Brooks movie. Please find the time to see this movie. Alright, so as I promised, a classic Spielberg movie, that is, right, for the Halloween season. Jaws is on Netflix. Jaws is a classic. I love Jaws. I fear that this might be kind of too easy of a pick, though. Like, I do intentionally try to stay away from movies that I feel like everyone has already seen. And this is probably one of them, but, oh well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. Jaws is simple. The premise is simple. There's a shark attacking people on an island called Amity Island, something like that, whatever. Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss, they gotta save the day. This movie is a classic. This is the kind of movie where after you watch it, you don't want to get in the water. I'm gonna make a personal confession here. I actually am afraid of the water because of this movie. Legitimately, I'm not joking. I'm not afraid of water exactly. I'm afraid of what's in the water, you know. So ever since I saw this movie as a kid, I refuse to go into oceans, rivers, lakes, creeks, things like that, things where creatures live. I won't do it. Pools are okay, you know. I don't care how deep the pool is. I'm not really afraid of pools, you know. So I'm not afraid of water. I'm not afraid of. I'm a good swimmer, you know. I can even jump off of, you know, a high diving board and stuff like that. Doesn't bother me. But ever since I saw this movie as a kid, I have been deathly afraid of what's in the water. I won't go in there. And that's something a lot of people have admitted to just because of this movie. It's one of the movies that's made the biggest impression on me, not just personally, but also filmmaking wise. I mean, this movie is brilliantly well made. It's Spielberg's first really big movie. I mean, Sugarland Express was a success and Duel was a success, you know, but this, I mean, was I believe the highest grossing film of all time when it came out. So that says something big, and it is also one of the films that basically invented the summer blockbuster, and the personal filmmaking that was going on in the 70s was over with after this came out. Like this and Star Wars basically ended a string of a lot of great movies that was coming out, which is kind of bittersweet, you know, bitter because, you know, probably a lot of great movies could have been made after this time that didn't get made. But sweet because Jaws and Star Wars is freaking awesome. So, like I said, it's a classic. You've probably already seen it, but watch it again. In fact, I guess I'll throw this out there. All the Jaws movies are on Netflix. All the crappy sequels. Jaws 2, which I have deemed the most forgettable film of all time, is on Netflix, if you want to try to watch that. I call it the most forgettable film of all time because I've literally seen the movie 6 or 7 times, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that happens in the whole thing. I have sat down, watched this movie from start to finish, and I don't know anything that happens. And in fact, while I was editing another BretFlix video, I had the movie on, and again, no idea what I saw on screen. Jaws 3, or Jaws 3D, which I named BretFlix episode 3D after, is on there. It's a piece of garbage, one of the worst movies you'll ever see in your entire life. But it's kind of fun because of how bad it is, so I kind of recommend watching it. Jaws the Revenge is notorious for being one of the worst films ever, which is sad because Michael Caine is in it, and he's one of the greatest actors who's ever lived. So the Jaws sequels are on there. That actually would probably make for a pretty interesting marathon. So there's that. Okay, and lastly, a classic from Alex Proyas, a great movie, The Crow. Man, what you know, I don't know where to start on this movie. The movie's famous, not just because it's a good movie, which it is a fantastic movie. It's famous because it was the last film of Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son. He was tragically killed during the making of the movie. Which is kind of ironic because the movie is about someone who gets killed, you know, comes back for revenge and all this stuff. The movie is really, really moody, very atmospheric, and it is a product of just pure sci-fi comic book vision. You know, Alex Proyas, the way he makes this movie come to life is truly incredible. I mean, he kind of makes a Tim Burton-esque film, but does it better than Tim Burton. And just looking at the city that this movie takes place in is absolutely incredible. And the effects are really stylized and cool. The movie's super dark, and there's a lot of great like heavy metal music and stuff. The makeup's really hardcore. You know, he's a guy who's come back for revenge, and he's invincible and can take all these bullets, and he kills a bunch of people. It's violent, and this movie's really awesome. So I think that's a great one to watch, you know, for Halloween. So that's the Crow, directed by Alex Proyas. Episode 6, coming to an end. Episode 6, BretFlix Balboa. That's probably my favorite title of any of the BretFlix episodes I've had so far. So we talked about some pretty good ones. I'm going to foreshadow a little bit for episode 7. Episode 7 is going to be something very, very special. Something I've never done before. I'm actually it's going to be an all Albert Brooks special. You know, I'm gonna review his last movie, of course, and then after that, I'm basically gonna geek out about Albert Brooks for a little bit, like I already have in all these other episodes. I fear a lot of people might skip it because they're sick of me talking about Albert Brooks, but I'm gonna get it all out in episode 7, get it all out, all on the table. So hopefully I won't ever have to talk about him again, which I know won't happen. So episode 7 is gonna be kind of a special treat. I hope I didn't spoil too much about what's going to happen in it, but I look forward to it. I hope you guys are too. The same old BS. Please like, comment, subscribe, do everything you got to do to help me out, because BretFlix is nothing without any of you guys. I'm nothing without any of you guys. So I had fun this time. I hope you did too. I will see you probably in another top 5 video. If not that, then BretFlix episode 7. So, mwah.